So I'm going to share with you why on the S&P I believe we have more upside to come overall this year. 7,500 target. I'm going to show you exactly how I got that target. And also, I'm going to show you exactly why I believe we're going to get around the 25,000 this year on the NASDAQ. Also, you can see here, this is a long-term, really long-term, so what's likely to happen over the next 5 years. But on the overall thing of this, I see gold right now, as I speak. This is the gold monthly chart, big move up. I believe we have one more push out of gold, one more push out of the mining sector, and also another really big push out of silver. But that is a signal that the top is in and we're about to see a complete collapse coming. Let's get straight into it. Don't place a trade based on what you'll see in this video because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. So I've just recorded a brand new trading course and I'm giving you a free access to this. This is broken down into 4 different parts. Part number 1 is about the foundations, the biggest mistakes you're making right now, what goes into a good trader. Part number 2 is about the chart reading techniques that's been working since the 1950s. This chart reading, part number 3, advanced chart reading, is about the techniques that I've actually only learned from my Millionaire Mentor, not from books. And then also my number 1 top trading system in mastery. I give you all of that for free and I'm giving it to you. So go to johnsfreegift.com right now or click on the very first link in the description. Alrighty traders, so let me start off with, I want to start off with just a real big picture analysis here, okay? So a big picture analysis for you guys that are more like investors. You know, you have a multiple $1 million investing account and your long-term buy and hold and so on and so forth. See, the thing for me personally is I actually have 2 separate type of trading accounts, or I have 2 separate accounts. I have one main account that I have buy and hold. Now just FYI for you guys, my buy and hold is mainly around gold, silver, and the mining sector. And the reason why is even though I see a really big drop coming next year out of gold, and we're looking at the gold chart right now, and if I bring up this level through here, you can see that typically this gold chart here, it's probably, if we continue to hold here and we see this big move up, gold's probably going to have one more push to the upside, but that's going to be the signal to the end of the big bull market in the stock market, I believe. Now, when I say that, then I see a really big drop coming out of everything through there. Now, my long-term buy and hold, portfolio is mainly around gold, silver, and the mining sector, or the GDX trade, okay? The reason why that is because by 2030, what I see happening here overall, if I bring up this long-term, this is a long-term monthly chart, and I bring this up to here, what I see coming, and I could be wrong, okay, so my confidence around now this is for long-term investors, okay? For you guys that are long-term investors, have big sort of multiple $1 million portfolios and so on and so forth. Firstly, if you do need some help, guys, around, maybe just looking for some good trades this year and next year and what to look for if you're looking to try to generate some income this year and also around some positioning over the next 5 years, then apply for my 1% group because I guarantee you I can help you because you're actually with me for an hour to 2 hours every single day with these markets, and I'm sort of to coach you and guide you through that. That's that second link in the description there, guys, if you need some help around that. But my long-term investment portfolio is I really see this sort of stuff happening. So on gold we can see here, I see gold having another push back up to around maybe the 4,000 level up through there on a short-term level. Then I see a very big drop coming out of gold. So I'm actually expecting that, okay? Now, I'm not freaking out about that. If we do get a 20-30% drop out of gold, which I'm expecting to happen next year, I think next year is going to be a very big week year. Now, I could be wrong, but one thing I'm really confident about is around the early 2030 period, right? That period through there, as you can see, right? Or I can just draw, that period. I'm really confident in seeing gold making an extraordinary quality move on the back end of all this. Because on the back end of all this, if I'm right about what I'm seeing here, I believe the government has one more very big QE here. Now, if you listen to Mike Maloney's Hidden Secrets of Money, you read Ray Dalio stuff about history, History gives us 100% certainty that even when the next recession comes, so the last one was in 2020, that was the recession. So 2026, 2027 is probably going to be a recessionary year. That means stocks are probably going to get hit hard. Now, by the way, I believe we're in a bit of a blow-off top phase right now in the stock market. And in blow-off top phases, what typically happens is they don't actually peak out. They actually keep going a lot longer than even what I think. So that's the danger of trying to be with the stock market. But I'm trying to share with you my long-term portfolio is around this level through here, right? And then I see after this drop here coming in, I see 2027, 2026 into 2027. I see something like that coming, and then I see eventually getting to a 10,000. Now, I could be wrong around that level there, but that's where, again, I'm just trying to share with you what I see coming through there, because I see through here, there's going to be a massive inflationary spike, and the reason why I say that is because I'm just looking at history. This is very, very, very similar to the 1970s, where we initially, this is what happened in the 1970s with the spike. We had an initial spike, and then we came down and paused for a bit, and then we had a much, much, much bigger spike, and we came down. And we know what actually happened towards the end of 80s, right? High interest rates, so on and so forth. I am actually expecting to see that again. And then on the other side of this is where we can get into something pretty, something pretty maybe awesome, but also dangerous for a lot of investors out there. And what I'm talking about here is this. So firstly, just so you know, my long-term portfolio, again, if you have a multiple $1 million portfolio and you're worried about the next 5-10 years and so on and so forth and that sort of stuff, and you need some help, just apply for my 1% group where you're with me every day, and I can coach you and guide you through the process of that. There's that second link in the description there. But that's what I see happening here. Now, the reason why I'm saying this, the reason I'm telling you this is just to share with you where I'm very positioned at. I don't know enough about cryptos. People are very big on Bitcoin right now, which makes me very nervous around Bitcoin. Okay, so Bitcoin right now, and you see this whole, everyone here is around the crypto market. And one of the best things that I can say to you as an investor is that do not get sucked in by the media. There is so much bullishness out of this Bitcoin market right now. I am seeing the cows come home with the whole Bitcoin market right now. And whenever you start to see the herd mentality is coming out of the woodworks, right? And I'm not just talking about just everyday traders and investors. I'm talking about everyone out there is really big on Bitcoin. Like, I'm talking about people that I look up to. There's a lot of people that I look up to on YouTube, right? About how I run my company and my business and the software that I use. And there's one guy out there who teaches people how to advertise on YouTube. That's what his business is all about. And for the last 6 months, he's been tailoring, put all your leftovers money into Bitcoin and maybe leave a 3 months worth of surplus in there, but put everything else rest in the Bitcoin and Bitcoin only. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this is not going to end well. This is not going to end well. So for you guys that are looking to position some money in the markets, again, for me, I'm not in the crypto market. I was in Ethereum recently. This is the Ethereum, and I actually had an amazing trade down here. If you guys have been following me for the last few months, you would know I talked about getting into Ethereum here, and I wrote it up, had a big profit. I even let you guys know on YouTube. But the purpose of me saying this here is I don't want you to just be getting into something because everyone else is talking about it. I don't know enough about the cryptocurrencies to say that through there. One thing I do know is that the cryptocurrencies is like the tech boom. And I see coming, I don't know, it may be next year, right? The thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of different cryptocurrencies out there right now, and the meme coins and all this sort of stuff. There's going to be a massive washing away effect out of Bitcoin. And so that's where for long-term buy and hold, for trading purposes, like for me, if I'm looking to get in and hold it for a week or hold it for a few weeks, hey, that's trading purposes is perfect there, right? But for buy and hold, I'm gold, silver, but also the other market that I'm really bullish. And the other one is it's around metals and miners really. At the end of the day, I just see a massive inflationary spike, and the mining sector, and I see this level through here. And one thing I do know is that one thing I've noticed time and time again is that if we've just done this for 10 years, right? What we're likely to see over the next few years is something like this here. I've just seen it time and time again, guys, from a chart perspective. And then also on the back of why is this going to happen here? When was the last mining boom? Well over 10 years, right? So if we put some common sense behind this level here, why am I very cyclical in this? Firstly, we see massive cycles coming, okay? Right now, last push to the upside before a complete collapse, right? A really big drop coming out of that level from there. Now, overall, over the next 5 or 10 years, what are we going to experience again? Let's just keep it really simple. What are we going to experience again? We know we're going to experience another mining boom. It's not like we're never going to go through another mining boom again, right? It just happens time and time and time again, right? It was back here in 2010 and all through here was the last mining boom. And now we've done nothing. What do you think's starting to happen right now as I speak, right? Now, this is investing, right, guys? Not trading. We're not looking for, oh, John, it went down today. Shut up. That's not for you, right? I'm not talking at you guys that are looking to make $1,000 this week. I'm talking at you guys that have, a few $1 million or more, and you have a large amount of money, and you're looking to put some things, put into place over the next 5 or 10 years. For me, I'm all like getting in on the next bull market. Bitcoin's already been in a massive bull market, stock market. You see what I'm saying here, right? So look what's happened here. We've just broken out, and so there's a massive probability over the next 5 years we're about to see some extraordinary growth out of the GDX. And also silver, right? And also gold, exactly like I shared with you. So that's for like a big long-term investing perspective. One, from a chart technical pattern here, whenever we do this here for a long term and we start to break out, then we start to make a big move. I'll show you an example here, right? So Roblox, as an example. This is a Roblox chart. Look what happened here. See, it's the same thing, right? And I've just noticed this chart pattern here. Now, again, I don't know exactly how this is going to play out, but whenever we do this here, right, for a long extended period of time, really for like 2-3 years, and we start to break out, look at this here. It went up. It actually dropped here for about 3 months, and look where we are right now. Do you see how this here is really, really, really similar? So we could be here right now on the mining sector. So yeah, the mining sector could have a nice move over the next couple of months and then drop for a few months. Who cares about the swings? I'm just really confident over the next 5 years we're about to see what. Because it's the same thing, right, guys? And when I recognize this chart pattern on the big long-term picture, it shows me what's likely to come. It's the same thing for gold, right? Look at this here. This was the gold pattern here. See how it's all the same thing, really? At the end of the day. Now this is for chart pattern, but then also on the macro side of things, I see like after the next recession, and there's going to be another recession coming. It's probably already started right now. We do know that. The Fed's going to come in and do more printing of money. That's history gives that 100% certainty, right? Probably some of you guys saying, hey, they haven't stopped yet, right? So we can see that through there. So, and look at this here. Once again, so that from a macro perspective, and then I see massive inflation coming. And can you imagine after the massive inflationary period? Imagine rates are high now. Man, imagine late 20s, right? Early 30s, that 30 to 35 period. Oh my goodness. This could be a repeat of the 1929. Really, 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 really could. And then this is going to be complete devastation for a lot of people, because I believe what we've been experiencing is just crazy. But from a chart, again, guys, macro perspective, you can see what I'm seeing on a macro perspective. I see there's a massive inflationary spike. Again, this is for you guys that are like to position yourself and so on and so forth. I'm just sharing with you how I'm seeing things and how I'm doing things myself. Again, when it comes to individual stocks, AI stocks, and stuff like that, I believe there's going to be a good buying opportunity with the AI stocks, but not right now. I believe after the recession, maybe in the next 12 to 24 months, there's going to be a very big drop, and that's going to be a amazing buying opportunity. But right now, my long-term investment portfolio is and has been with gold. But as you can see from a chart perspective, look at this here. It does nothing for 2 or 3 years. And then when we break out, we end up going through a very big bull market, right? So it's just a chart pattern that I've just noticed, along with some macro cycles, inflationary. And when it comes to the mining sector, a very simple analysis around the mining sector is what? It was over 10 years ago that we had a mining boom. So there is a massive probability in the next 10 years we're going to have another mining boom. And it may be already slowly getting started right now. We just can't see it. right? People say, oh, I've got to wait 4 years for a mining boom, and maybe already starting right now because look how much we've gone up already, right? You see that through there? So that's what I'm seeing through there when it comes to that through there. Now, that's gold through there. Now, I want to share with you something while it's on my mind that I think is really important to understand. I'm going to be jumping from thing to thing here, but I really want to, it just came back into my mind, but I really want to share this with you here. I want to share this big long-term chart here, okay? So I think you see this level through here, right? You see what's happening here. And this is a big long-term chart right now on the Dow Jones chart. Now, the purpose of me bringing this up to here, one thing I've started noticing, and you probably noticed it yourself, right? You started noticing people like, well, if you just bought and hold the index, you would have done good, over the last 100 years and so on and so forth, right? You've heard that sort of thing out there, okay? And you started hearing people like Tony Robbins buying, if you just bought the index, you'd be fine. Even the Wolf of Wall Street, he came out with an investing book, right? About, buy and hold and you should be fine. So the thing that I'm getting really concerned about is that a lot of people are starting to talk about this just buying the index and doing much better. But as you can see, the reality is, as you can see from looking at this Dow Jones chart, is it doesn't keep going on forever and ever and ever. Yes, we do eventually make new highs, but there's a period of a decade where the market does nothing, where you really don't make any money for 10 years. There's no growth. Now, maybe if you're compounding with some dividends there, you probably did okay, right? So maybe 3% over the 10-year period, your portfolio made 30% that year or whatever, okay? But I hope you can see what I'm saying here. And why I'm saying this is why I do see we're likely to go through another big blow-off move here real soon. Oh, actually, we may be in the blow-off move right now, followed by a big correction next year. When I see this here, one thing that can really think about here is if I'm trying to put the pieces together. Okay, so hear me out. If we do know there's another recession coming, and we may be already in it right now, probably we are, right? Then we do know there's going to be another QE package, right? And we do know eventually this whole printing money and the system we've been in, right, for the last 50 years or whatever, right, with the printing money and so on and so forth and the government and all this sort of stuff, we do know there's something massive coming, right? There's going to be something massive coming in this here. Now, what is that something massive? That's something massive to me. What I see in this here is that it's the end of the game, right? Over the next 5-10 years, our life is going to go through a complete 180 in these markets. One, we do know there's going to be eventually, if I am right about the coming inflationary spike over the next 5 to 10 years, meaning that we had the recession, they do another big round of QE, just like history gives that 100% certainty, that massive QE is going to be pumped into the system again to keep things afloat. That alone is going to then create another massive inflationary spike, big time. And I think we have one more massive QE, meaning over the next 12 to 24 months, we have one more big massive QE. And if history is a guide, that the next one's going to be bigger than the last one because they've all been bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, right? Just to keep things going. But I think we have one more. And then we're going to see a massive move in equities. We're going to see a massive move in gold, silver, massive, and then we're going to see, I believe we're going to see a massive inflationary spike like we have seen in the, let's go back to here. So let's go back to gold here for a minute, right? And let me just squeeze this chart up here. So I believe we're likely to see something along the lines of what we saw back here in this is what I'm actually expecting to see. Now, again, I could be wrong, guys, so don't just go out there and do something stupid, but I could be wrong. But looking at the thesis of what I'm looking at here is that we do know there's going to be a recession coming. We do know in the recession they're going to print more money. And when they do print more money, if history is a guide, then history says that the next QE is going to be bigger than the last one because every single one has been bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And if that's the case, if we do go through a big inflationary spike, you know that interest rates are going to be a lot higher than they are right now. And if that's the case, what's going to happen to the government? What's going to happen to the debt? What's going to happen to social security and government jobs and so on and so forth? This is when it start to become really, for those who are not getting their house in order, this is when it starts to become really, really, really dangerous, right? In the markets here. And so, and as you can see, and that's the reason why I believe this here, what we saw back in the 80s, this is roughly what I'm actually expecting a repeat of gold, and why my portfolio is not in AI stocks, it's not in cryptocurrencies. If I'm just using if I'm looking at the most highest probability of scenario, it's what I've been talking about in this video so far here. So that's what I'm actually seeing from there. But if I go back to here, after this move from here, so even though we actually have a big move up coming, I see right now, and then a very big drop coming out of the markets, I see another big inflationary spike coming. A big move coming. And so therefore, from the 2027 period and onwards, we're probably likely to see a really big move back out of the markets, because they're going to print more money and they're going to go back through there. Then what happens at the end of this 2030? If I'm a guessing man, if history repeats itself like it has been for the last 100 years, we're probably likely to do what? After 2030, where's the 2030 mark? Right there. Say 2030, maybe even 2030, right? After this period through here, I'm expecting what now? So 2030, that was what? Roughly, that was actually roughly 15 years, right? 15 years and so on and so forth. I'm actually expecting a good 10, 2030, maybe even 2035 to 2040, 2050 to be what? Another block time. And then we're going to, whatever happens to the economy and so on and so forth. Now, again, guys, I could be wrong here, but if history is a guide, and I'm looking at this massive history cycles of the last 100 years, there's a massive probability, one, we still have a lot more upside to come overall, but on a short-term level basis, we're probably going to go through a really strong move, and then we're going to go through a big correction, and then going to blow it up, and then we're going to go through another big move, right? So 5 years to go to 2030. We're 12 years in, roughly 16 year cycles, 10 to 15 years of this sort of sideways. That one there was 13 years, 15 years. This one here was also roughly around 11, 12 years, right? So we have that 10 to 15 year worth of sideways period. And once again, I'm starting to see a lot of people out there. I'm starting to see so many people out there, like all these people out there saying buy and hold is the way to go. Now, I'm really grateful for the skill that I've developed, which is trading the markets, right? So even if I'm not right about the whole long-term buy and hold, I'm a really good trader and learning how to identify these opportunities to trade really well. So therefore, over the next 10, 20, 30 years, I can still crush it financially and do really, really, really well, even if we're just going to go through a sideways market. Make sense, guys? And again, if you need some help with that, guys, fill out the application form, that second link in the description, and I'll speak to you, and if you might be good for my 1% group. So that's what I'm seeing through there, guys, and what I'm seeing. Now, that's the big long-term picture there, right? Big long-term picture on what I'm seeing right now on the Dow Jones. So, but on the short-term level, right now, I want to share with you, let me go back to this chart here, this chart right here. And so that's the Dow Jones from there, okay? Let me go back to the NASDAQ. And I'll share something with you here. As you can see here, the NASDAQ, this is the NASDAQ chart here as well, okay? So we have a low period, and we have a high period, and then we have a low period. So this is an extension, right? So Fibonacci, just the extension. And as you can see, this extension here, now looking at, again, this is real short term. This is over the next, say, 12 months looking here, okay? As you can see that the extension actually got there, right? So we had this low to high to low, and it actually ran straight to the 1-to-1 extension, and then we had the drop. So if history repeats itself and we get the exact same thing, if I go from low to high to this correction here, right there, as you can see here that we still have, this is the NASDAQ composite here, we still have maybe another, I'd say around the 25,000 level looks like a pretty good target for this level from here. So that's the NASDAQ from there, and what I'm seeing there on the NASDAQ overall. If I go to the S&P 500, so the S&P 500, the same type of thing. So why I'm seeing this level from here is if I bring up the extension tool and I go from the high down through to the low, and then we go back to the high. Look where we actually made it. Look where we got. We got literally just a few points off hitting the 1-to-1 extension from there. So if this is the same thing and the same thing applies and the same thing happens again, then what we can experience now is that pretty much the same type of thing, right? We go from low to high. We go back down the low point from here, and we go back to the high period from here. So then that gives me a 7,500 target. Now you understand. If you click on my name on this YouTube video and you go over to watch my main trailer video, you'll now know how I actually got. So when we're down here on the big tariff situation here, when that happened in the tariff situation, I was calling for a 7,500 target, and this is one of the tools that I was utilizing. Plus, also, I didn't believe that this was the complete top in the market, not yet anyway, because we've just been in a very big long bull market. So what I'm expecting is I'm actually expecting to see this here continue up from here, right? Continue up from here, one more little push to the upside, and then I'm seeing a really, really, really big correction. Now, I don't believe it's going to be a complete, massive, I think some people are coming out like 80% collapse. Probably not. Probably not. Probably a good 20, 30% on the downside, and that may get you to this longer term trend line, which is a bit of a quinky dink, right? This long term. So this is probably what's going to happen, but then we're probably likely to see something like that going on as well too. If I go back to the NASDAQ, same type of similar situations from here. And again, if I bring on my longer term trend line, that's that long term trend line here. I am expecting to see more upside this year coming from here to here. And then we get a really big drop. That may be, and again, that doesn't look like much, but if we did get something like that, that would be a good 30 to 40% drop out of the markets. But all I see this from a big long-term perspective is what? Market goes up, comes back down, goes back up, comes back down, goes back up, comes back down, goes back up. So you see, even if we did get something like this coming, right? A nice move up in the NASDAQ this year, a big drop coming into next year. Can you see how even though the big drops, this big long-term monthly charts keep you in perspective of that? It's probably just going to come down and make a higher low. But that's going to look huge and a really big drop, because that's a big drop. That's a good 30 to 40% drop in the NASDAQ. That's where people are going to freak out. So keep an eye on these big long-term monthly charts, as you can see here. That's the reason why I keep an eye on this level from here. Keep an eye on this level here on the S&P 500 on the big long-term monthly charts, because you don't want to be starting to get freaked out about, what's going on there and what's happening here and stuff like that. So on a short-term level basis, guys, let's go to absolutely real short-term level from here. And let's actually go to this sort of level from here. What I'm seeing right now, actually, you know what? Let me do this here. I'll bring this up to here. So this here reminds me of a trade that I did last year on gold. And let me explain something here on gold. So the reason why I see that there's likely to be another push to the upside, and I could be wrong, I haven't got a trigger yet, but I'm getting ready to take a trade on gold, but not yet. I haven't got my trigger yet. Is this. I have found that whenever we do get see this green moving average? So whenever we do get the green moving average like that, I have found that if the market spends some time going sideways through here, if we start to get a break up through there, the moving average is like a momentum indicator. So you see through here, right? The market pushed to the upside, almost got there, pushed to the upside, almost got there, pushed to the upside, it's almost getting there right now. So we could be on the brink of a push to the upside. Now, one thing I do know is that in most big bull markets, we get about 3 major stair steps, right? So back here, 1, 2, 3, and then the bull market's over. So this is 1, 2. We might get a 3rd stair step, but this is going to be the last move out of gold, I believe, before we see something really big. So what I'm expecting right now is I'm actually expecting possibly a 4,000 target, right? A 4,000 target to where we see a nice, where we hold here. Now, I don't know for sure. This could be a distribution phase. What I'm looking to see is it a distribution phase or not, is I'm going to go to the G or D chart now, because that'll be the one that I'll be trading, because I like to trade options. And I'm going to go to the daily charts here, right? So this is the daily chart here. And one thing I'm looking for is this here is the resistance level. For this to tell me that it's not a distribution phase, which simply means the big boys are selling it and then the market comes down. I believe this is a last accumulation phase, and what I'm looking for is I'm looking for a bar to have. I'm looking for a really big strong candle like that, like a big strong candle really breaking up, and I'm looking for a dominant volume spike. If we can get something like that, then I believe we're likely to see one more push to the upside. But then after that, right, if I go back to my gold chart now, then after that, what I see is this big move up, 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 up. Like this is probably going to be the last push. I believe silver, I believe the mining sector is going to go through as well too. This here is probably going to be when we're going to go through maybe that last push on the stock market. And this here is the last big leg in the big bull market before we see everything come down in the next 12 months. And people are going to be freaked out by this, right? And then we're going to probably see something like this coming down through to here, a really big drop out of it. And then we know where I see things coming over the next 10 years. And then I see this here being one of the greatest buying opportunities you're going to experience over the next, say, 12 months in here. And this here is when you can actually, I believe you're going to add a few extra, maybe 6 or 7 zeros, maybe 8 or 9 or 10 more zeros on your investing account if it's done right. Again, I could be wrong, so I'm not doing it now, but I'm trying to share with you out there. Now, what this reminds me of, because markets do the same thing, right? Markets do the same thing again and again and again and again and again. So what this reminds me of is a trade that I took. It was race. Let me show you back here, okay? I want to show you how this works. So, remember I said before that most bull markets, not all the time, but most bull markets generally have 3 major stair steps, right? 3 major stair steps, and the third stair step is generally the last stair step, right? So we could be doing nothing through here, and we come back up, stair step 1, stair step 2, stair step 3, and then we do something like that, or we might do something like this, right? So we either go sideways for a while, or we start to see a really big correction, and then we go from there. Right, so most big bull markets, most big bull phases, right, come out of having 3 major stair steps from that there. So, and as you can see here with race, this is a trade that I did last year, and I'll show you exactly why this looks really similar to what gold's doing now. And remember, patterns repeat. And this is what's so good about my personal trading, is that I'm always trading, my trading techniques and things I use is universal across all markets. So as you can see here, right, market did nothing through this time. 1, 2, 3 stair steps. You see that through there? Look what happened after the 3rd stair step. Now we've done nothing. See that through there? Remember I said with gold, if I go back to the gold chart now, right, this is gold. Remember I said before, what did I say? 1, 2, we're now on the 3rd stair step. What happened on the 3rd stair step with race? Right? Let's go back to race, RACE. Right, we can see what happened through there. We had one more push to the upside, and that was it through there. But hear me out. Look what we also did. This is really similar to what gold did. But remember, this is the last push. It's not the start of a 10,000 gold. Not right now. Right, if you're thinking that, you're gonna get destroyed next year, right? Look at this here. When the market goes sideways for many months, but the green moving average is still strong to the upside. Remember I said before, it's like a momentum, right? If the moving average is going up and the market's going sideways through here, more times than not, we'll get a push to the upside. We'll get one more. We'll get a push to the upside. The momentum will push it to the upside. This is what happened recently on silver. This is what happened in the actual mining sector. And it's one of the techniques I'm always utilizing. So I use the 24 moving average on the weekly charts. And then I'm also utilizing the 52 on the daily charts. And as you can see here, look at the GDX. Look what happened to the GDX. Came down to the 52 and pushed it to the upside, right? If you look at, say, the SIL, look what actually happened, right? We actually dropped down to the 52, 52 was very strong, and the 52 very strong, this strong trend into the upside is like a momentum. So if we come down, we're likely to push up through there. See that through there? So this is what I'm looking through. So if we have a strong trending moving average like we do through here, there's a major probability it's going to continue. Right? Just like the SLV. If I go back to the, let's go to, SLV, right? Look at SLV. Look what happened with SLV recently, right? Came down, bounced off it. So I hope you can see through it. So going back to the weekly charts now of gold, right? As I said before with gold, and also more like the GLD, because that's the one I'll be trading. As you can see, it's pretty much the same type of thing, right? Once again, sideways, we break out. 1, 2, third stair step. Again, this is very, 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 very similar to race. As you can see, once again, nothing through here. Pretty much just sideways overall. 1, 2, 3. This is the one stair step through here. Second stair step. And then also the third stair step. But notice what happened with the third stair step. We did get a push up and we had a really nice move, as you can see through here. But that was the end of it through there. And so one thing I'm looking for right now is that, as you can see here, see this sideways period through here? This sideways, this is the weekly chart. Then I go to my daily charts. And then what I'm looking for is, let me actually go over to here. Let me scream over here. What I'm looking for on gold right now, because it's the exact same thing. This is why my trading's so successful, guys, because it's just, I know what I'm looking for. It's no longer guessing, right? So see how this is pretty much like gold right now. See, just sideways on the daily charts. Well, what I'm looking for is I'm looking for that. What is this? 1, very strong dominant candle breaking out. 2, look at that volume spike behind it. And then look what ended up happening afterwards. We had a nice move up, didn't we? Right, really, really, really nice move up. But then, guess what? Then that move up, which we did get a move up for a couple of weeks, that was the end. And then now what have we done? Absolutely nothing ever since. So now that's what I'm expecting out of gold. I'm expecting this last little push to the upside. So I'm looking for, and see what I'm saying here, guys? One of the reasons why my trading is so successful is that I don't guess, right? It's the same patterns again and again. And if I can focus on the reason why I'm bringing up race, because race is very similar to what gold's doing right now. By the way, it's similar. It's really similar to hundreds of other screenshots that I've taken, because it's the same pattern. Whenever I see this pattern appear, which is my trading system, there's a massive probability I'm going to make a nice little profit out of it, right? So if I go back to the GLD chart now, you'll be able to see, what am I looking for, right? It's all the same thing, isn't it, guys? All the same thing. There's the resistance line through there. There's the sideways movement. What am I looking for? Right, I'm looking for this, and then I'm looking for maybe something like that, and then a real big breakout bar. That massive volume spike. If we get that, we're getting ready for have a really nice move to the upside, but it's probably going to be short-lived. It's not a buy and hold for many months for me. No. It's probably going to be buy and hold for a couple of weeks, and then we're likely to see a really big drop coming to the downside from there. So that's what I'm seeing from there, guys. Once again, looking at there's a really big sort of, once again, looking at the crypto markets from here, guys. There's a massive danger in the crypto markets right now, and I don't know when. I don't know how this is going to play out in the crypto market, this crypto space from here, right? This sort of crypto space from here, but there's just a lot of people are bullish around this crypto market from here, and then we've actually had a few major, stair steps up. I'm seeing a lot of people really jumping on the Bitcoin bandwagon again as well too, and it's just. People think they're legends, and I'm seeing people pop. It's just out through there. And Ethereum has actually had a really nice move as well too. I believe Ethereum is now getting ready for a bit of a resting phase, as you can see. So if we do have one more push out of Ethereum is probably going to push back to the upside. If we do get a push to the upside here, it's going to be a false breakout, right? False breakouts, guys, just so you know. If you go back to, look at this level here. If you have a major resistance like we do through here, if the market goes up, and then keeps going up through there, this here is when we get false breakouts. And this here reminds me a lot of what Alibaba did, right? So if I go to Baba, look at Baba. What did Baba do? So Baba actually broke out, right? But why did Baba fail here? Why did Barbers see this massive breakout through here? So Barber actually broke out through here. Why did this fail? Because notice here, look at this here. We went up, 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 up. This is a weekly chart. And then we broke up. We continued up. Then we get a pullback, right? The best trades is what you want to see for a true breakout is you want to see the market going sideways first. And then you have that through there. I'll show you an example, right? So if I go back to my gold chart, look at this here. Why did gold have such a big move? And why was this gold breakout here a true breakout? Look at this here. So we actually, we ran up, but then we spent a few months going sideways. The sideways pattern here says we're resetting, and now the breakout is likely to be a true breakout. See what I'm saying? So a lot of the times when you get these breakouts, if the market hasn't gone sideways and what's called refueled and rested for a while, then we are likely to start to see this thing start to have we're likely to see what actually Barber did here. And so we see this time and time and time and time again. So if you are looking at Ethereum right now, I was in and I'm out of it right now. I made a lot of money out of Ethereum. Again, if you guys have been following me now for the last few months, I said down the bottom here, it was actually down here, right? When this V bottom, I said I haven't been in the crypto market for a long time, but now I'm in it for trading. I was in, and then I actually got out up there, and the market's doing this here right now. I made a lot of money all through here, really, really, really a lot of money. So now we're doing this level. So once again, don't be so sucked in. Don't be so sucked in for this Ethereum market, because that's that resistance level all through there, as you can see. And as you can see this over here. So if Ethereum right now, if Ethereum does hold, remember I said before, if Ethereum does hold, we need time to reset. Why did this big move come through here? Because we went up and we had this sideways period. This sideways period is the rest and refueling that goes for a really big move, right? A rest and refueling that goes for a really big move. And then we have a big move. But notice we had this pullback here, up, up, up. If we get a break to the upside, there's a massive probability it's going to be a false move to the upside. And I'm always looking at this from all market perspectives. So if I look at, say, the Dow Jones here as an example, right? And I'm looking at the Dow Jones as of what I just told you there. Well, let's actually do this here. So actually, let's go to the futures here, because I'm pretty sure I've got right? So if the Dow Jones futures, using the same analysis, if it breaks out, is it likely to be A, a false breakout, or B, a true breakout? Well, it's likely to be B, a true breakout. Why? Because now we've actually had a resting phase. If we kept going through here, and then either A, we broke up through there, or B, we actually ran up, had a little pullback maybe for a few days, and then try to go again. Notice we haven't spent a lot of time. But notice, what have we done here through all of, what is that through there, right? So all this through here on the Dow Jones has been what? What's that? About 28 bars, 41 days, about a month and a half of sideways. You know what that is? That's the market resting. That's the market refueling. This here is the refueling of the markets here. And whenever we do get the refueling phase for a month or two, we're ready to go for another move. And if the market, and this is where, like, you be careful of the false breakout moves. I do trade breakouts. When you get access to my free trading course, that first thing in the description there, guys, the very first video you get is actually a 25-minute video walking you through my trading system. So you can get that straight away. And I do trade breakouts, but a lot of the times people get sucked in because we need enough amount of time or enough amount of refueling phase, typically around 30 days on a minimum that I've seen. Then we're likely to start to see really big moves, right? And so that's the reason why you can see here, Dow Jones is probably likely to be a true breakout, where we're looking at the Ethereum, it's probably going to be a false breakout. Now, when I say false breakout on Ethereum, right, this is what's probably going to, if we did get a breakout here, if we did get that, when I say false breakout, it doesn't mean it's going to be complete over, but what's probably likely to happen, let me just take that off the screen. If we did get a breakout here, notice my moving average through here, right? By the way, FYI, see what happened back here with Ethereum? See this moving average trending up? Remember I said before about if the market comes back down to here, it's like a magnet and pushes it back to the upside? Remember I said before? Use that in your own trading, guys, I promise you. And this is where the best trades for me right? And one of the reasons why I'm actually, for trading purposes, I'm still in silver right now, and I'm still in, some of the mining sector as well too right now from a trading purposes, is that number one thing. If we ever get and now the tip about this level from here to here is this. If the moving average has been flat like this and we're just pointing up, that's not what I care about. But if we've been doing this for a while, if the moving average looks like this, that's what I care about. Not it pointing up, but it's been trending up. The trending, for example, here, as you can see, this here is around about 6 months with upward movement. Around about 3 months on the, let me actually go to the silver chart through here. Right, so you can see what I see through here. Right, so as you can see here from a silver chart perspective, look at the silver chart. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to continue here, but look at this here. So for a few months, look at this here. See how see the moving average from here? So there's a massive probability we're about to continue this overall movement from here. Same thing through here as well too. So what chart was I on just there? Was that the Dow Jones? Let's go through to here. Right, so that was the Dow Jones. What chart was I on just there a minute? Oh, back on Ethereum. Okay, cool. I just want to share this with you. So remember, a false breakout doesn't mean an end of trend, right? A false breakout can just mean it's an exhaustive move before we need to go through a bit of a. So what can happen scenario one is if we do get a breakout from here, right, and we continue to hold here, right, we get a breakout like that through there. If scenario one happens, then what we're probably going to do is we're probably going to see this thing come up through to here. We're going to start to see this thing increase. And so if we get that, we're probably going to go through then a few months worth of something like that going on. And then we're likely to continue. So that's what I'm saying. A false breakout typically means that it's probably going to be the end of this move before we see a sideways consolidation. That's scenario number one. Scenario number two is that we actually do hold here. We continue getting the moving average coming back up, just like we did back here. We continue going sideways, just like gold, just like race, and then we can push back up again, and then we can push back up again. You see that through there? So that's what you want to be looking at there from there to there. And it's always a really, really, really powerful motivator. And once again, that's the reason why I'm saying, if you look at the gold chart once again, this here is the gold chart, and the gold chart is telling me, just like, as you can see, and it's just a very, very, very powerful thing, right? Whenever the market, now again, it doesn't work 100% of the time, but most of the time, as you can see, see all through here. What was so powerful? Why did this? Now this is a weekly chart. We spent a few months and we bounced. Few months bounced. Few months bounced. But then when we got to the end, then what did the moving average start to do? Notice the moving average started to roll over. See that through there? See how it's all rolling over from there? That's the end. Well, we're not getting that yet. But I do believe we're likely to see something like that going on when it comes to the good old gold market from here. So there we go, traders. There's your update for today, maybe even for this week as well too. If you do need some help around your trading, guys, then make sure you grab access to that free trading course. And if you are more serious and a bit more disciplined, and you really are committed to this, then that second link in the description there, guys, go fill that out. That's a link to what's called my 1% group, where you get access to my top trading system strategies, and also you get access to me every day for an hour or two as I walk and coach you and guide you through this whole process. Speak to you soon, guys.